engineering compromises that we have to do to get the thing to fly. So a lot of stress analysis goes into it, a lot of art, but really the creativity and the imagination. We have everything from the Disney characters to flying pizzas to just about anything you can imagine.
Special shaped balloons are really neat because it is, I mean, how are you going to see a champagne bottle floating in the sky? And what a great marketing opportunity. So we're good friends with one of the local wineries here, and we use their facility to meet our passengers in the morning for our flights. And they got involved. We took them to Albuquerque to the balloon fiesta. They fell in love with it and said, we want an almond champagne balloon. So we actually found a champagne bottle balloon and had it redone with banners to match their bottles. And this is the first time that the balloon is flown with all of the new artwork and advertising on the side of it this weekend. You know, shaped balloons aren't like a regular balloon. They don't travel in the same manner. So like the champagne bottle doesn't have a round circumference on the top. So its lift is not going to be the same as a regular hot air balloon. And because it's a point, it can hit wind shears. And as it hits wind shears, the top of the balloon can actually fold. So, and they're not made to carry passengers, really. They're more made for advertising.
As for the balloons that do carry passengers, getting them up in the air is like clockwork.
Well, first of all, we inflate the envelope, the fabric portion, with a fan to put cold air into it. That creates a big enough target to burn the flame from the burner. Propane burner, we burn propane. The flame goes in, we heat the air, the envelope stands up, we load the passengers in, and then we continue heating until we get liftoff.
And the pilot certainly isn't alone. It takes a crew of members to ensure a safe liftoff.
Me, Rick, and Herbie are setting the balloon up. Right now they're putting the Velcro on the crown line, or the crown of the balloon, which is like a giant parachute on the center of the balloon. At the top, that holds all the hot air in, and they have to secure it with Velcro. Little Velcro spots all the way around the balloon. It's critical that that piece is put in place because there's a line that comes from the crown all the way down to the pilot, and that's how he controls his airflow through the balloon. He can go up or down. Obviously up with heat, down with opening the vents.
Finally, it's time to hop aboard, but not before a little safety check.
Ladies and gentlemen, while we're on the ground, bend your knees like you're skiing or on a skateboard. Hold on with two hands. Okay, I want to see everybody out. I want to make sure you bend your knees, so swivel your hips. Works every single time.
While we get down and boogie and prepare to take off, you should stick around.
When we return, it's up, up, and away we go. You won't want to miss it. Stay with us. All right, we're ready to go.
Family business.
Well, we finally made it. We're up in the air. We're about, how many feet up in the air are we right now?
We're about a mile up in the air, about 5,280 feet.
Now, I'm here right now with the man brave enough to fly a vessel driven solely on air, hot air, that is. Now, I'm here with Philip. He doesn't like to be called Philip, only his mom calls him Philip. But I'm here with Phil, Pilot Phil. Now, Phil, first of all, what does it take to get this thing up in the air?
Well, back at the launch site, we used a couple of inflator fans for about 10 minutes to put cold or ambient temperature air into our 250,000 cubic foot balloon. And then I stepped behind the burners. The basket was tilted over on its side. Stepped behind those burners and added some heat. Stood the balloon up into a vertical position. After about 2 minutes worth of heating the air inside, we were airborne.
Now, once you're up in the air, I know you keep telling us how many feet we're at. How do you know how many feet we're at?
Well, I have an altimeter, and it shows right now we're dropping through about 4,500 feet. I'm going to give it a little bit of heat to regulate our descent rate.
These talented pilots go through extensive training and are tested before receiving a license.
Okay, I'm able to climb at this point. We're certified by the FAA, so there's tests that have to be taken that are administered by them. There's 3 different tests that are taken, a written test, an oral test, and a flight test, or check ride. And basically, once you passed all that test, you're good to go. With your private license, then you have to do more training to get your commercial license.
So what does it take as far as training?
Training takes about 10 hours of instruction, approximately another 3 to 4 hours of solo flight, and then a check ride, just like you would get a check ride in a fixed-wing aircraft, but specific to the hot air balloon.
So is there certain schools that you have to go to? I mean, obviously there is, and how long, I mean, is it a year-long process usually, or what's the average for that?
A commercial balloon pilot can be an instructor, so he can actually instruct you and train you, much like an apprentice, but we do have schools that are specific to learning about ballooning in the West, specifically in Albuquerque and in Salt Lake City. I became a balloonist because I liked aviation. I liked watching skydivers jump out of airplanes and old biplanes. At California Dreaming, we actually have an old biplane. We do biplane rides as well. And the balloons just seem to catch kind of a romance, you know, not knowing exactly where you're going, the size of the aircraft. It just has kind of an otherworld property about it, and people see balloons as almost mystical or dreamlike, and that's our name, California Dreamin'.
For the pilots, there's a true love for the art. But when floating amongst the clouds, their passengers are of greater concern.
When I'm flying, my first concern usually is my passenger safety. I'm thinking about where a good landing site will be.
It's an experience that you will not likely forget. It's breathtaking. But unless there are near-to-perfect conditions, you might miss your chance at flight.
The obstacles that we face are obviously the weather. We're weather-related, and getting customers to understand that we sometimes have to cancel. You know, you can disappoint them if the weather's bad. And then just the overall community itself. Ballooning, it's important to be very proactive so that people enjoy seeing the balloons in their community. We look for days where the winds are less than 12 knots, and also that the sky condition allows us to see and have the cloud clearances that we need. And high pressures are usually better than low pressures, but sometimes we have clouds, and those are quite nice too.
Regardless of the sky a mile high, on the ground you find the crew, a few good men that are watching the heavens with a close eye.
Just as important as the pilot is the ground crew. We have a crew chief that actually follows us on the ground, and we use an FM radio that allows us to talk from air to ground, as well as a GPS coordinates, so we can actually tell people now via satellite where we're located. So it's become kind of high-tech as a low-tech sport. So ballooning is very simple, very low-tech, but we use some very high-tech instruments.
We're following the balloon, staying in radio contact with the balloon, and we're there for him when he touches down.
We're not getting enough turn to make it over in that field. Go ahead and go to the cul-de-sac and make a U-turn in front of you.
Thank you.
And you're going to need to go up on the Shaw Ridge to get into Deer Valley.
On my way. So go back on the freeway, get off at Carmel Country Road.
That's right. Who do you have chasing with you?
Herbie and Rick.
Okay.
It's important for the chase crew to be there when the balloon lands, because they're traveling at about, today is going to be a really calm day, so they're probably going to be going like, what, 3 miles an hour? And when they're landing, it's going to be a real easy day today, hopefully. And Phil's a really good pilot, so he'll pick a nice cherry spot to land where everyone's going to have a great time. And we get to go home with a nice easy load. They are directly above us right now. If they spit, they would hit us. You're just given directions by the pilot to wait at the intersection of Carmel Valley Road and 56 Freeway, which is near a couple different places we can go off. We can branch off depending on where he's going to land.
From Wealth TV's Wealth in the Air, we'll be right back.
I have you in my sights. I'm heading east now, and we'll be there in about 2 minutes. I'm right next to the freeway. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how you chase a balloon. Yeah, that's not necessarily a picture-perfect medium, but Phil's a really good pilot. He handled it just fine. Hey, Phil, you want to give us a glow? There you go. Yeah. That's rad.
Welcome back to Wealth in the Air, Sailing the Skies. From the familiar sound of the burner to the big, beautiful colors, hot air balloons can turn any head, young and old. One place in particular that draws the crowds, the Albuquerque International Balloon Festival.
You see, someone who's 10 looking up at the balloons and their face is just lit up, and then you have somebody who's 65 who looks just like the 10-year-old. As they're looking at it, they think they're a kid again, so that's really fun.
Every October, with its crystal skies and unique landscapes, Albuquerque becomes a blank canvas for the colored creations waiting to be launched. Each year, balloons and pilots from more than 50 countries arrive to participate in the festival. With the bursts of reds, blues, and greens, this celebration has become one of the most photographed events in the world.
Being at the Albuquerque Balloon Fiesta, I mentioned earlier about the 10-year-old and the 60-year-old. Albuquerque's like that for me. I was born and raised in Albuquerque. I was around hot air balloons from the time I was able to walk. We would go out to the fiesta. And I have been around balloons my entire life, and it's still, I get out there and I see the balloons. They're big mushrooms sprouting all around you, and sometimes there's so many balloons around you that you can't even see the sky. They're above you, they're next to you, and there's no other feeling like being at the fiesta.
In Albuquerque, you'll see a wide variety of special-shaped balloons, a kaleidoscope of colors, and the launch of the America's Challenge gas balloon race. In the event, the pilot who flies farthest in 3 days takes home the Balloon Badge of Honor. However, one of the most anticipated scenes comes at night, at an event called the Balloon Glow. The bright torches light up the night like a chandelier in the dark sky.
Great experience, especially for families. It's like a light bulb being blown, and it's to music, so it's really put together choreographed music with the balloon glow.
Day or night, the joy of ballooning can mean a lifetime full of memories.
You've been a pilot, for about 30 years?
I've been flying balloons for 31 years.
So what made you decide to go into this?
Hot air ballooning became a love after watching airplanes and skydivers as a small child, and I just always thought that I wanted to fly. I didn't know what, and my first balloon flight sealed the experience.
I met my wife doing this. She's not a balloon passenger that I met. She was a balloonist herself, still is a balloonist, but her father was a balloon pilot for 33 years, and we met at the big balloon fiesta in Albuquerque, New Mexico.
How romantic is that? You can't get more romantic than that, I guess.
Yeah, I guess not. We have 5 kids now.
And most passengers can't wait to get back up in the sky.
So what brought you on today?
It's a Mother's Day present from my son.
It's a Mother's Day present, and is this the best present you've ever had?
Yeah, awesome.
And how was the ride today?
It was awesome. Every part of it's awesome.
What was your favorite part?
All of it. Actually, pre-boarding was cool. In here, and then it just set right up.